Our company is Sheetz, a convenience store and gas station that is based out east. In my job experience, I have personally never worked for a small business. I've only worked for larger companies such as Target, Hometown Pharmacy, and a nonprofit community center. I think there are benefits to small and large businesses. The two benefits that stand out to me of larger businesses are number one, that it is more established. There is much more brand recognition associated with the company in the state. And number two, larger businesses can offer larger compensation packages, benefits, and higher salaries because they have the funds to do that. The two benefits that stand out to me the most for small businesses are number one, the workplace culture, because in small businesses, the culture can be one of the things that draw a person in, and the owner is able to create a supportive environment that's not easily replicated. And number two is that employees are able to gain exposure in many parts of the business by working closely with upper management. I do tend to get very bored, and as bad as it sounds, I see myself getting sick of a job every couple years and needing something entirely different, and think that I would be interested in anything. Working for a small business would be something that's different for me, and overall I don't have a preference. I think working for either would have its own unique advantages.
My experience with small business has been mostly positive. There is a level of informality in small companies with management, as well as a realistic attitude of, we're all in this together. It is also rewarding to see the direct impact of your contributions to the company. There are struggles, as the company may not always have the resources that make things convenient, unlike their bigger competitors. However, this can also be a positive, teaching you to persevere and adapt with what you have to get the job done. In the future, I would work for a small business again.
Hi guys, my name is Alex, and I've had a good amount of experience working for small businesses and large businesses. As a freshman sophomore in high school, I got to work a small business. One was a pizza place, and another one was a sit-down restaurant. And I got to learn a lot within that business. And then I got to work for Domino's, and did an internship with Target as well, where I got to learn a lot about corporate. So my preference overall would be a large company until my career is established, and then I'd eventually transfer to a smaller company if I wanted to or if I needed to. I prefer those just because the retirement is often much better. Like Target, they match 5% and everything on their retirement. All those little things, those mean a lot to me. Opportunity to get promotions are often better. This doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but in a lot of large companies, you can work your way up if you do the right things and work hard. There's less stress on the job due to the little things being done for you within the company. So wages for employees on a corporate level can be a little easier just because employees can often meet up with their bosses or whatever and explain what they, why they need a raise or why they don't think they're not getting enough money. And it's a little easier to work around, satisfying their needs for financials. And then you get to understand different business areas because the little things are taken care of, which I do like. I would start my own business in order to establish financial freedom for later in my life, and then to have a project that I can constantly work on. This is a big deal to me because I don't see myself working every single day for the rest of my life. I want to be able to run a business, and even though that would be considered work, it'd also be a project that I could continue to work on, and I can get better in all aspects of business that way. So that'd be my plan for the future.
So I personally have more experience working in larger businesses such as Piggly Wiggly Walmart, the state of Wisconsin, and Johnson School Bus Service Incorporation. However, I do have a little experience with a small business because when I was in high school, I coached at Waupun Gymnastics Club, which is a small little gymnastics program only in the town I grew up in. I'm honestly not opposed to either type, but once I graduate, I would probably lean more towards a larger business because they're they are more likely to be profitable, and therefore I could make more money starting off. And I think that just getting some experience where someone is better established might be beneficial. And then maybe after getting some experience, and I would consider a small business when I'm older, because I think that I would have more knowledge of how to be successful with more experience, and because this would be easier to establish clientele because I would already have connections through networking at other businesses. Um, I always thought that starting my own small business would be something that I would be interested in. However, I did recently get to talk to somebody that owns a small business, and I realized how much um, goes into doing that. And right now, I decided that is not something that interests me, but maybe sometime in the future it would.
So the Sheets company uses a functional organizational structure. Starting the company as a small family-owned company is what influenced Sheets to have the functional organizational structure. The Sheets family and the board that they chose make decisions for Sheets every day, meaning that the Sheets company is centralized. You often see this in the smaller businesses that end up getting bigger because the owners or the founders usually want to maintain power, some sort of power at least, even though there's a lot more people involved. Uh, you see this a lot. Like, if I were to start like a real estate company, as that company gets bigger, I'm gonna want to always have like a say in what goes on. Just because like it's a company that, like, say my family and I started, you want to always be a part of the decision making process. And there's naturally some biases and stuff that go on for who's on the board and whatnot, which also adds into the centralized aspect of the company. The company can also be considered decentralized to an extent because the Sheets has 634 locations. They kind of have to allow a lot of people to make decisions that aren't necessarily made at the top or whatever. So when you look at management and all the different locations that they have, there's a lot of employees, like a lot, that have to make decisions every single day for the betterment of the company. So having the structure works because for the Sheets company, because everyone knows where the Sheets company stands on decisions, because the Sheets company has been consistent since they've opened. They have a way of running the company, and every employee and manager knows what's expected of them. They have like a set in stone training regimen. They have a set in stone do's and don'ts, and these, with the experience of the whole company as a whole and how big it is, they've been able to implement a lot of rules and regulations within the company that will help them stay consistent. So this could make new decisions or change a little bit difficult for Sheets. However, they'll be able to adapt because they have the right amount of decentralization within the company.
On May 27, 2021, Sheets announced that they would be partnering with Flexa, a digital payment company, to accept cryptocurrency as payment at their stores. Sheets will be accepting Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ether, Litecoin, and many others. This comes in the wake in the rise in popularity of the crypto market. The crypto market is a sustainable change that is impacting many industries, including Sheets's. It is also part of Sheets's general environment. This is a change in both the company's technology as well as their operations. It is part of a strategic plan to set themselves apart from the rest of the companies in their industry. The force for change came externally as more and more people invest in cryptocurrency. Although Sheets is reacting to the crypto market, it is a planned change. It is unknown if this move will be successful, as it is still new, but they have received the PR of being the first to do this. It also shows Sheets as being a forward-thinking company. There is some uncertainty that comes with the move. If Sheets controls the crypto that is used as payment instead of converting them to dollars, they run the risk of the various cryptocurrencies losing their value. I'm sure this was the source of some resistance to the change at the company, but it is hard to ignore the benefits of the continuously stabilizing crypto market. There is great upside in the potential value increase, especially compared to the waning dollar. This may also be a way for Sheets to stave off the rising inflation across the country. Another issue that arises is that cryptocurrency is still a foreign topic to some people who may not know about it except from the news. Some may think that crypto is unsecure, but Sheets has stressed that this method of payment is actually fraud reducing. There is also the factor of convenience. With more and more people having crypto wallets, customers can pay any way they wish. Sheets, a company known for convenience, has become even more convenient.
Sheets has made many innovations to its company. For example, adding touchscreen kiosks is a form of incremental innovation because this is a service that modified the existing one. So customers can still order made-to-order food in person, or they can use the kiosks inside of the location or at the drive-thru. The idea of kiosks at Sheets was introduced back in 1991 when one was added to a location, and this was for employees to be able to punch in specific made-to-order food instead of just a generic option. By 1996, these kiosks were at every Sheets location. So Sheets began using these kiosks years before they really became popular. So a resistance to change for this could be uncertainty about effects of the change because competitors weren't yet using them. And it could have been hard to know how well that technology was going to work. So within the last 10 years, innovations still keep being made with these kiosks. In 2017, Sheets partnered with Mighty Touch and added over 160 kiosks at 80 locations. So these are becoming more popular and really kind of taking over their whole idea because they really are only using these kiosks now. So a resistance to change for this addition could have been the cost of it, because just one kiosk is $60,000. However, the people at Sheets noticed how well their sales increased drastically since adding these kiosks over the years, so they knew that it would be beneficial. This was a planned change rather than a reactive change because it was implemented in an orderly and timely fashion, and they really thought a lot about it to help with their future sales. So this was really successful because it helped them to establish their made-to-order menu, so they no longer have to process food orders one customer at a time. So this is increasing their service and their sales and therefore their profit.
For the recruiting culture of Sheets, I found in my research that 90% of the store managers at Sheets are hired from within. Sheets and their management really pride themselves in the training that they give their employees to succeed. They offer hands-on training as well as a PDS online training system for their store employees. Sheets offers several benefits to their employees as well, such as medical, dental, vision insurance, vacation and personal days, and tuition reimbursement. Their employees make up the Sheets DNA, as they like to call it, and their people set them apart from their competition. They have high standards when hiring because they want to feel confident that their new employees bring their own talents to the table but also fit the current culture. Sheets employees are genuine, innovative, high energy, and dependable. When it comes to employee reviews, I would guess that they would do some sort of meeting every so often and explain why the employee was rated that score. When it comes to diversity, Sheets is working to minimize the gender and racial wage gap. 23,000 people work in their retail stores, 61% are women, and 23% are people of color. They really like to take care of their employees and increase their minimum wage to help equalize the playing field. They understand their workforce and give them incentives that match their needs, such as time off for mothers and transportation help for those in need.